Welcome to Coffee Break with Rachel V. Hill, taking a daily look at the biggest stories in Denver sports and interacting live with you, the Coffee Break fam. So sit back, relax, grab a cup of joe, and enjoy your coffee break. Here's your host, Rachel V. Hill.
Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. Excited for today's show, mostly because we're going to be reminiscing on all of the championship parades that we've had here in the past couple of years between the Broncos dating all the way back. I know it's been a minute. Avs, Nuggets. We're going to debate which one was the absolute best because, of course, the Chiefs having their parade today. But, of course, we have to bring in the one and only Richie Carney to hang out. Hello, my friend. How are you?
Doing well. How are you, Rachel?
I like the pink shirt.
Thank you. Felt festive.
Yes. I forgot it was Valentine's Day, so I should be wearing red, but I am not.
See, you as a woman, I feel like you can forget it's Valentine's Day and get away with it easier than if a man does it.
Fair. That's
right?
fair. We'll get into like some V-Day stuff because Richie's always got great dating stories. So I always love to dive into this kind of stuff. But let's talk championship parades because I am very jealous of everything that's happening with the Kansas City Chiefs today. And they're all popping bottles of champagne, riding the fire trucks, etc. So it just made me think, what was the best parade that we had? And I've been trying to reminisce, and mine, I think, is going to be different than yours.
Really?
I do. I just think mine's going to be different. So I'm curious to get your opinion first, and then I'll go with mine.
I am going to say that I thought the Avs parade
Holy smokes, me too.
was the best one.
Wait, I was not expecting you to say that.
Yeah. Well, listen, I was still in college when the Broncos had theirs in 2016. I hadn't come home yet. So I didn't get to experience that. The photos and the videos and all that, you can go back and look amazing.
Yeah.
The Avs parade, because it had been several years since any sports team had done it, and how swept up I got into it with that cup run, Mission 16W and all of that.
Didn't it feel bigger than the Nuggets?
From like a gravity standpoint, I feel like it did. Again, because I think we all got caught up and it was the first championship parade in a significant length of time for the city and all of that. And I felt like because the Nuggets did it the following year, theirs got not cheapened, but it was almost like you didn't have that same euphoric thing, because we still had the year before. Now, if it had been reversed, my answer would probably be the Nuggets for that exact reason. But man, I just that Avs parade was something, and you had, drunk Gabe Landeskog ripping his shirt off and the flag, and
it was the best. First of all, it was just crazy. Because I remember chasing Gabe, and then Cale McCarr and Devontae's.
Yeah, we were running after the fire trucks.
It was so much fun. I don't know.
Got as great as some of the speeches. Nikola Jokic, I want to stay on parade, and Michael Malone looking like a beastie boy with his hat turned to the side and the chains and all that. Jared Bednar, after a couple of cold pops, was
amazing.
They gave me my first chance,
I forgot
he was like, I'm not gonna cry.
I forgot that he cried.
Oh my gosh, it was because Michael Malone. We actually got to witness a pretty cool, intimate moment during the Nuggets parade. You and I, when we were kind of back there where the final fire truck was, and Malone, after all the players and the assistant coaches and everybody had gone into the building to come out on stage, Malone stayed behind, and he reserved that moment for himself to kind of have the emotional moment, and everyone kind of like stayed back and let him do his thing and what have you. So he was more composed a little bit when he got on stage and was kind of a little bit more funny in the sense of being like Dynasty, and Bruce and all that. Bruce. Bednar looked like he just kind of got up there in the moment, and those emotions just punched him in the gut in the middle of it, and he couldn't help it. He was like, I'm so proud. It was so good. It's I'll never forget it.
I'm surprised. The cup run was so intense, and I think you're right, because it was the first championship that everybody kind of like grasped it, and just it felt so different for the Nuggets. Not saying like taking anything away from it, because I do feel like Denver is more of a basketball town than a hockey town, not to piss off Avs fans or anything of that nature. But it's funny because I was at the Broncos parade. I was still in college too. I remember missing classes and all of that sorts to go down there, and I went with my parents. But when you are sitting there waiting in front of City Hall, or I don't even know what building is it.
I don't remember
it's whatever it is. It
like
doesn't have the same feel. You're like waiting for so long, then they finally get up there. I think honestly, if you're gonna do it, go on the parade route.
Yeah.
Because it is so much more fun, especially if you go later on when the players are sick of being up on their fire trucks and everything,
Yeah.
that they're like running around. And DeAndre Jordan last year was like all over on the bike, like high-fiving people. Like,
yeah, him and Ish Smith were riding up and down, high-fiving
Yes.
people. The Nuggets dance team
Yes.
was hitting you and I with the super soakers full of
Yep.
champagne, and it's just like it was. I would agree with you in the sense of like, if you're gonna do the parade, move around, kind of storm chase
Yeah.
it a little bit. Like, we started with the route, then we ran ahead so we could catch more, then we kind of went behind
Yeah.
and kind of were bouncing back and forth. But then before the parade route ended, we just kind of booked it. Now you gotta commit to a little cardio to do that.
For
you can't
sure.
just park it. But I feel like that's how you get the full experience.
And then go to a bar or a restaurant afterwards and you can
Yes.
hear the speeches, because half the time you can't hear what they're saying anyways
Yeah.
when you're out in front with
Yeah.
the other people.
Yeah, no, it was, and there was something too about, like, and I don't want to make it sound like it was too different in a sense of like when the Nuggets won the title, it didn't feel like there was as much drama. Like, everyone, it was like, hey, they're gonna beat up the Timberwolves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and I know they was a gentleman's sweep. They won that one game or whatever. But that one, it just really felt like they had outclassed them. In my head, when they played the Suns, I was like, this feels like it could be a second round upset for the Nuggets, because I was concerned about KD and Devin Booker, and they punked them in 6. I know it went to 6, but it was like, I mean, they exclamation pointed that thing in Game 6 in Phoenix with a blowout win. And then when it got to the Lakers, it was like, oh, that was the one moment of drama where it was like, oh, this is the team that has been the bugaboo for the Nuggets for their entire existence. It got in the way. And once they swept them, I had zero doubt in my mind that the Nuggets were going to win the NBA title.
Me too.
Going up against Miami. It's not a disrespect to Miami, but they were clearly undermanned, kind of a Cinderella. Jimmy Butler was willing them to.
And then once Jimmy Butler was hurt, it was over.
Yeah, so there wasn't as much drama there. With the Avs, it felt like the whole freaking thing was drama. I mean, they steamrolled through Nashville, but then St. Louis, who's historically been a tricky team for them in recent years, plus it was the second round wall that they'd hit for 3 consecutive seasons, and that was the toughest series that they faced. So once they got through that, it was Edmonton, and you had the drama with Kadri and all that, and they, you were going up against McDavid and all of that. And so they ended up sweeping that series, but leading into that, it felt like there was drama. And then when they got to the final, it was like Rocky IV. I mean, you were talking about the back-to-back champions going for a three-peat.
I was prepared for it to come back to Denver for Game 7.
Yes, best goalie in the world in Vasilevsky. It was like, hey, it was the opposite of the Nuggets. Like, when the Nuggets went against the Heat in the finals, it was like, they got this. With the Avs, it was like, hey, I'm believing them. I'm confident in them. But man, this is tough.
It has a different feel.
They weathered that storm.
Yeah.
And so I think that helped amp up the drama for me, in addition to it being the first of the 2 championships in recent years and getting that kind of bias toward it. It just felt like there was a little bit more anxiety with the Avs.
So do you think, on this note, obviously it was 2 different sports, but we're talking about the Nugget or the Avalanche one, and it was like so exciting. Do you think for Chiefs fans, because this is back to back, that it is just like, another parade?
Yes,
like
absolutely.
It doesn't have the same feel.
Absolutely. I mean, what did your fiance say? After
he
they won
literally
it?
was so anticlimactic.
So
I was so mad at him.
You are the Kansas City under Mahomes is it's fitting, because we basically, a ton of the conversation, the narrative has been Mahomes is now on pace, on track to surpass Tom Brady's legacy as the greatest of all time from an accomplishment standpoint, at least. And, he's still got to win 4 more just to tie Brady. But
he's so young.
Exactly. He's off to a little bit of a faster start. He's got 3 in 5 years. So
did you see the text message he sent to Brittany Mahomes?
No.
He said on like January 4th or 5th, he was like, we're going to go win the Super Bowl. Man. Isn't that crazy?
It's crazy. So when you look at that, the Boston fans, for reasons beyond just Brady, I mean, they won 6 Super Bowls, Brady and Belichick together in a span of 20 years. But while that was happening, you also had the Bruins, the Red Sox, the Celtics, all competing and winning, in some cases winning championships. So Boston became known as like Titletown. Titletown, USA, right? Kansas City, through the Chiefs alone, is going to experience a similar feeling. I mean, Rachel, 3 Super Bowls in 5 years.
I know. I'm just like...
And they lost one.
Yeah. Did you see they're spending $2.2 million for the parade?
As they should, because that it's the return on investment, whatever the Chiefs want to put out and the city wants to put out, they're going to get the ROI from how good the team is, because those fans are entrenched now. They are they're gonna ride the high for as long and spend as much as they need to, and all of that. So yeah, I do think there's going to be some championship fatigue. Whereas like if you ask Patriots fans from that 2000s, 2010s kind of era, they're just like, oh, like we expect to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
the Chiefs fans should expect to win the Super Bowl, or at least compete for it every single year.
It kills me a little bit
That Mahomes is alive.
They're expecting 500,000 people out there today. Back in 2020, yeah. It was somewhere between 800,000 and 1 million. So it kind of tells you that people they've gotten the feel for it already.
Yeah, there was more than 1 million. There was more than 1 million when the Broncos had won theirs. Now, obviously, you had a multi-decade gap between 1999 and 2015.
They're so spoiled.
But yeah, so I can, that actually surprises me a little bit. But I think it does point exactly to what we're talking about. Of like, it's not the championship parades when you win multiple in such a short period of time are not must attend, because you're like, hey, I went to the first two, or like instead of going out line and waiting in the parade and going through all that like I did for the first one, or maybe even the second one, it's like I'm just gonna throw a parade party with my friends, just like the Super Bowl, right? We're gonna celebrate in our own way, that kind of thing.
Or
whereas
we probably know the players are gonna go out, so how many people are gonna go out after work?
So when it becomes such a frequent thing, you're not bound to try to go out of your way and inconvenience yourself to do the celebrating after the fact.
And Taylor Swift's not going to be in attendance. She's back in Australia getting back to work. So
there
goes a lot of kids that were probably hoping to get out of school. So that's not happening. I saw this. The similarities between the 2019 and 2020 season and the 23-24 season.
Unbelievable.
There are so many similarities. It's actually scary. Chiefs beat the 49ers in the Super Bowl.
Done.
Lamar Jackson wins MVP.
Done.
Ravens win AFC North.
Yep.
Texans win AFC South with 10 wins.
Yeah, that's crazy, because that's a division that has not been like the AFC East, where it's like the Patriots ruled for forever, or the Chiefs are dominating the AFC West. Like that one between the Jaguars, the Texans, like there's been some competition.
And with 10 wins.
Yeah.
Chiefs win AFC West.
Yep.
Chargers last in AFC West. Sucks to be a Chargers fan.
Some things never change.
Commanders last in NFC East with 13 losses.
Again, crazy for a team to lose 13 games in a season is hard. I mean, even it's hard to win games in the NFL, but going 3-13, because I think it would have been 3-13 at that time, because we hadn't added the 17th game back in COVID. So going 3-13 and having the same amount of wins, even though adding an extra game or the same amount of losses, is crazy for it to be the same team.
Yep. Panthers last in NFC South. 49ers win NFC West. Cardinals last in the NFC West. 49ers are the number 1 seed. Chiefs plus 600 preseason odds to win the Super Bowl.
Like, how do you even track these things?
49ers beat the Packers in the playoffs. Ron Rivera was fired after a loss. Both of those things, or all of those things, happened in both of those seasons. That's just freaky.
Insane. I saw one that went even further, that was like they started bringing in college bowl game stuff. It was like the winner of the Orange Bowl won by a score of 35-13 or something like that.
Oh,
It was
my God.
like they started branching out beyond the just the NFL. It was what was happening in college football. It was what was happening with the election. It was like all these similarities, and it makes you. It's like, are we living in a simulation? Like, is this the Truman Show?
It's crazy, and it's just freaky. And yes, congratulations again to the Chiefs on their Super Bowl.
So if you want to make a bet on the 2028 Super Bowl winner,
do it.
You know who to start with now at this point.
I'm like, too bad those odds aren't already out. It is Valentine's Day.
It is.
I forgot about Valentine's Day. My dog is getting dental surgery today, so that's why I forgot about it. But you are obviously wearing the pink.
Mm-hmm.
But did you see what Travis Hunter's fiance got him? Because she wins Best Valentine's Day gift.
I did not.
It is so freaking cool. It is a miniature. Yeah, here you see it on the screen. It is a miniature, like 3D sculpture, like figure of him doing that interception against TCU. And there's a QR code that allows him to scan it, and it'll play the play. She wins Valentine's Day.
That's awesome.
And it looks so good.
Wow. See, she's tapped into it the right way, because I think Valentine's Day, justifiably so, is labeled as a Hallmark holiday, right? And you get those people that are like, every day is Valentine's Day if you really love your significant other. And it's like, yes, but also no. You know what I mean? Like, you know, you can celebrate anything every day if you want. Every day could be Christmas if you're just always in the spirit, you know,
but I think it'd get a little old.
Exactly. So, but she's tapped into one of the things that I love the most about Valentine's Day, which is that if you steer away from the commercial aspect and you don't have to spend $70 on a massive bouquet of roses that are going to die in a week and a half, or, get the $10 card and the this and the that, or the expensive dinner reservation, which, by the way, in my personal opinion, if you make a Valentine's Day reservation and take your Valentine out for dinner on Valentine's Day, that's a rookie move. And I'll tell you why. Because
I love
that is buying into the commercial element of it. Like, I would much rather, I have in the past have always preferred to go the route of like, do something small and intimate on actual Valentine's Day and avoid all the chaos and the craziness of people that are going out, and then save the Valentine's Day celebration for like the Friday after, the weekend after, even before, right? So like my move was always do like because I can cook. I grew up in an Italian family, so I would cook.
You cooking for anyone tonight?
I'm not cooking for anyone tonight.
Not yet, at least.
We'll see, right? I mean, it's only a little after noon, so we'll see. But I would cook like a small kind of setting, maybe get a bottle of wine, kind of thing, and then we would do some kind of outside celebration, whether it's a different dinner or another kind of event later, because then you parlay it, right? And I think that's where, like with Travis Hunter's fiance, $100,000 ring. She didn't just buy him some commercial generic thing. There's a personal sentiment behind it. It was arguably one of the biggest moments of his season. Yeah. And it was like nationally something that put him on the map in terms of major conversations. And she made that kind of personal touch to it. So, she won. Yeah. Yeah. She could have bought him like a watch, a really expensive thing or whatever, but she went for the heartstrings there. She won a little bit and she wins. So she's on the right track.
She definitely won. What's the best Valentine's Day gift you ever got?
Oof.
Or have given? I guess men don't typically get a lot of gifts.
Okay. I'm going to preface this by saying that I put 110% into everything that I do.
Richie does.
But
we appreciate him for it.
I'm in my 30s now, and so I feel like I've shifted a little bit or kind of channeled the energy in different ways. But man, when I was in college, there was no bar that was too high for me to set. So I'll tell you this. So my high school / college girlfriend, she's the reason I went to Michigan State in the first place.
Richie followed love for college.
I did. It was the best dumb decision I ever made, and I stand by that.
Fair.
Our anniversary was in December, and so not that December like is right next to Valentine's Day, but it kind of backs up into Christmas or whatever. So the way that I had spaced things out was I think we'd been dating for 5 years at that point, and I kind of did like a subdued like anniversary thing or whatever it was. And so I kind of combined them. And so for this event, I ended up I went out, I bought an LBD, bought a little black dress.
Wow.
I bought a pair of shoes.
Wow.
I made a very nice dinner reservation, which I know kind of contradicts what I had just said, but this was because this was a combo thing.
Okay.
Right. So I made a nice dinner reservation at this restaurant, and I also made a bunch of small handmade. I was very crafty. So like, I'll give you an example.
The DIY king.
Yes. So I took a deck of cards, right? I took a deck of cards.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm kind of scared.
Took a deck of cards, took red construction paper, and I cut out little squares that are like almost the size of the card, right? So you could see like it says king, jack, queen up in the corners. So I covered the face of the card just with that, so I made like a little border, and I wrote 52, because there's 52 cards in the deck. I wrote 52 things that I love about you.
Oh, the king.
Individualized.
King is
and then I hole punched them all and put them on a ring binder. So it was like a little card book. Right. So I did things like that. Right. But that's not enough. Right. Because that's, you got to add.
Too simple.
It's like the have you ever seen the movie The Prestige?
No.
It's a movie about magic, right?
Okay.
So these two magicians, Hugh Jackman and Christian Bale. So there's 3 levels to a magic trick, right? And the final trick is the prestige. It's the one that makes you go like, wow, how did they do that? Yeah. Right? It's when he says, open your hand, and instead of a playing card, it's like a chick.
Yeah.
Or something like that. So I faked an illness the weekend before.
Okay.
We were supposed to come down and celebrate, and I faked an illness all week. I was leading up to it. I was like, I've been throwing up, my stomach, something's wrong, blah, blah, blah. And I was supposed to come up and see her.
Mhm.
So I was like, I don't think I can do it. I don't want to get you sick. And I basically got her because I knew how she would respond. You know, you get in the other person's head. I was like, she's going to say, I'll come down and
Mhm.
see you. I'll take care of you kind of thing. Right. So I faked this whole illness. I canceled all of our plans that I had, all that stuff. And so she came down and I answered the door. I got like a blanket over me. You know, I'm like pale. I put water on my face to look like I was sweating. And so when she walked upstairs to put her stuff down in my room, on my bed in my college apartment or whatever was the little black dress laid out with the shoes, a huge thing of roses, a card, chocolates, all this stuff. And then like she was totally surprised.
Yeah.
And so that was my prestige. That was my final thing, right?
Oh my
to throw them off the
gosh.
scent and all that. And we ended up going to a really nice dinner and all that. But yeah, I was very proud of myself as a college kid that I went to some expensive boutique stores and picked out a black dress and matching shoes and all that stuff. And I was like crowdsourcing it with the women that worked at the store. I was like, I literally walked up. This might be one of the boldest things I've ever said. I walked up to
sales associate?
a sales associate or whatever, and it was one of those places where they like do makeup on you too, like you know what I mean. So this woman, I should say, was getting her makeup done by an associate, and I just walked up to this random strange woman and I said, I have to ask you a question. And social interaction, like she was like, who the hell are you or whatever, and she's in a chair so she can't even move, right, because she's got someone like doing her eyebrows and stuff. And I was like, hypothetically speaking, if you and I have been dating for 5 years and I'm about to take you out for Valentine's Day, would you prefer this dress or this dress? And I literally just held up the two options. And the makeup woman was like, and she was like flabbergasted. She's like, that one. And I was like, would it change your mind if I said that would go with this shoes over these shoes? And she was like, what are you doing later? And I was like, why have I not used this as a pickup line before?
Wait, this is so funny. I give you props. A+ right there.
That's my biggest one that I've ever done.
That is so good.
It's a high bar to set, though. I acknowledge that.
I was gonna say, I wish I would have gone first before this.
I didn't have to celebrate a 6th anniversary with that girlfriend, so I didn't have to top it.
I'm trying to think of like, I'm a big person where I would rather save the money and get double for the same amount. So like me and my fiance, we always celebrate like a week or two later when the roses go
Thrifty,
back to normal.
yes.
Like,
it's like buying Halloween candy on November 3rd.
Like I get twice or 3 times as big of a bouquet for the same amount of money kind of thing. So I'm trying to think of like, I don't even remember what we did last year.
And I would say this because I told you what that story kind of counteracts or contradicts some of the things that I said. What I've prioritized now just in my own life, and I think it extends to like if I'm going for a Valentine's Day thing, is I strongly prioritize experiences over gifts, over material things. So like I would rather do a Valentine's Day experience, like let's go skydiving, than let's go to an expensive dinner. You know what I mean? Take the same money, put it towards something that we can make memories with, kind of thing. So that's what I do now.
I'm just really curious what you're gonna do today, if there's anyone.
You'll know.
Okay.
I'll keep you posted.
Are you working through some things in your head right now?
Yeah, I mean, you always got to have a contingency plan, right?
Always.
I mean, listen, when you don't have a dedicated Valentine, I feel like you're on standby. You're like the National Guard. Like you're not in active duty, but you could be at any moment. So you got to be ready to fuel the jet. So,
I'm ready to hear about it.
Yes. So I've got some contingencies.
You're gonna be buying the $70 roses tonight if the contingency comes into play.
That's the last resort because I feel like that's the most cliche. But yes,
you have to bring flowers though. I'm sorry.
Of course.
That's just what it is. Richie, always a pleasure. Thank you, my friend. Keep rocking the pink shirt as always.
Thank you.
Everybody else, thank you so much for hanging out with us. We hope you have a wonderful Valentine's Day. Andrew Mason will be on Coffee Break tomorrow, so make sure you come hang out with us, and then we will see you at 10 a.m. for Denver Sports Daily. Get back to work, everybody. Have a wonderful day.